The creation of state police in Nigeria has been endorsed by a board of legal experts, academics, and lawmakers. The recommendation emerged during a national conference at the University of Ilorin themed Restructuring the Policing Architecture in Nigeria, Is State Police the Optimal Solution?, organized by the Institute for Legislative Studies. The event gathered scholars from law, political science, and economics, alongside students, to discuss the pressing issue. In his welcome address, Professor Ibrahim Imam of Ilorin echoed these concerns, citing the Nigerian police force's current struggles with insecurity, abuse of power, and the lack of innovation, which underscores the need for reform.
The issue of restructuring of our police structural design cannot be overstated. As a nation, we are struggling with security concerns that require innovative thinking and collaborative solutions. The debate surrounding state police continue to gain prominence, with proponents highlighting its potential for localized and effective policing, while critics raise concern about abuse of power and resource allocation. Yet, this conversation must not be limited to state policing alone. There are broader systemic reforms and alternate models that warrant our attention, and this conference serves as a platform to rigorously examine these options.
For his part, the chairman of the occasion and member of the Kwara State House of Assembly, Honorable Shehu Oguniyi, argued that centralized policing contradicts the principles of federalism outlined in Nigeria's constitution.
There's a provision for a federal structure of government under the 1999 constitution, as amended. However, the centralized structure of the police architecture is a contradiction to that requirement, because in itself that is a feature of a unitary form of government as different from federal system of government. It is important that focus is not just placed on changing the nomenclature, because the worst fear really is that if you bring it down to the subnational level, then it will be abuse of power. That is the greatest fear. But there are other elements around it, which presupposes that not just changing the nomenclature, not just changing the control, it calls for deeper reflection, and I do hope this conversation will continue.
At the opening ceremony, Professor Abdul Fattah Sambo, representing the university's vice-chancellor, praised the conference relevance and called for exploring alternative policing models alongside state police to address the nation's security challenges.
The topic for today's discussion, of course, for the conference, which is National Conference on Restructuring the Policing Architecture in Nigeria, is state police the only option? It's very timely in view of the nation's current security issues, and there is no better time to discuss this topic than the period when the constitution has been altered.
While delivering his paper, Professor Majid Alabi, a keynote speaker at the conference and provost of Osun State University's College of Law, emphasized the urgent need for state policing, but warned of the complexities involved. Alabi highlighted the critical role of the human factor, advocating for comprehensive training, discipline, and oversight of law enforcement personnel to ensure effectiveness and accountability.
State police or no state police, you are at the receiving end. You need not be a criminal to be at the receiving end. You can be a good partner to the law enforcers. You can cooperate with them in detecting crimes and apprehending offenders. So each and every one of us, whether we intend to go into the security forces or not, has one role or the other to play. All this insecurity that you are talking about have become unnecessarily overblown because we are in a democratic dispensation where anybody can just say anything. Just open your social media, take your Facebook, take your WhatsApp, true or false, just sharing information. And gullible Nigerians, eminently gullible Nigerians, we just start forwarding them, whether the case true or no. Those are also contributing to the security challenges. Because those who are the enforcers of law are unable to determine which one is actually genuine and which one is actually false. When you overburden the security forces with information that they are not expected to bother about, you are expanding what they need to do, and you are reducing the time needed to pursue what they need to pursue. How we can get an efficient and effective policing system. I think that is the goal. Whether state police, whether central police, whether local government police, if they are unable to guarantee the average Nigerian the security of his life and property, we can throw them away.
To address these challenges, Alabi proposed the creation of a Federal Police Commission responsible for training, certifying, and disciplining officers. This body would ensure that recruits meet the required ethical and professional standards.
We must make certain preparations before we will append the law that will create state police, so that the state police, when created, will be able to solve these present challenges that we are facing rather than compounding them. The law that will guide state police will go beyond the Constitution. There must be robust legal framework that will deal with so many issues to delineate the respective powers of the federal police and the state police, to avoid conflict. The issue of training and certification must be important, because the question will be, once state police is created, does it mean we can just wrap up all my political talks if I'm the governor of a state and say they have a state police? I mean, therefore, we must be able to create at the level of the federation an agency or a commission that will be responsible for training and certification of people who will be fit and proper to be engaged as policemen. And the constitution was put in there. The issue of police in Nigeria is an idea which time has come. But the challenges attendant to its implementation have to be weighed against maintaining the current system. So, the only two remain. Do we continue with the NPF as it is, or go for Nigerian police, or go for state police? My thesis is that if we must unbundle the NPF, everybody that is succeeding to them, call them state police, must not be bedeviled by the same problem that the NPF is having today. If they become bedeviled by the same problem that the NPF is having today, then there is no purpose leaving our place. When you are moving from your comfort zone, you must be sure that where you are moving to will be better than where you are coming from. If at the end of it, state police became something that aggravates rather than reduce the current security challenges, we are not yet in our El Dorado.
The conference concluded with a consensus on the necessity of state police, coupled with a call for meticulous planning and inclusive dialogue to ensure its successful implementation. Maridia Abdulhakim, reporting for ANF TV.